Jazz substitutions can be a bit of a rabbit hole. There's a lot of them. Which ones do you need to know? How can you use them with the chord progressions that you already know? In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you 5 of the most commonly used jazz subs and how you can use them in your jazz guitar playing. So pick up your guitar and let's do this. Greetings jazz guitar gurus, my name is Jamie. I'm the founder of jamiehorrorguitar.com, which is a blog, video lessons and Patreon page, all geared to helping you become a better jazz guitar player. And if you haven't done so already, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. That way you'll get free access to all the new videos which I post. So welcome to today's lesson. I'm going to be discussing 5 common jazz subs and how you can use them. If you'd like to get the PDF for any of these examples, then you can do so by supporting me on Patreon and becoming a jazz guitar guru. Jazz sub number 1 is called the Tritone sub, and this is probably the most commonly used jazz substitution. To demonstrate this, we're going to be dealing with a 2-5-1 in the key of C major, and we're going to be looking at the 5 chord G7. We're going to be counting up 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flattening the 5th to become D flat, and we're going to be playing a D flat 7 there, where we would usually be playing a G7. So G7 is going to be replaced with a D flat 7. Why does this work? Well, both of these chords share the 2 most important notes in common. The 2 most important notes of the chord are the 3rd and the 7th. These tell us if the chord is major or minor and what type of 7th is on top of that. So for example, a natural 7th would indicate we have a major 7th chord, and a flattened 7th would suggest a dominant 7th chord. So the G7, the 3rd is B natural and the 7th is F. For a D flat 7, the 3rd is F and the 7th is B natural. So the meat and potatoes of both of these chords are exactly the same, however the sound is a little different. To demonstrate this, I'm going to first play a regular 2-5 in the key of C, then I'm going to play a tritone 2-5 so you can hear the difference. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So hopefully you can hear the difference there. It's pretty similar. For me, the tritone sub sounds a little bit darker than a G7. Beyond this, we can actually add the 2 that goes with the 5 of the tritone sub. So if D flat was acting as a 5-1, the 2 that would go with D flat would be A flat minor 7. So the second example here shows this. We're going to have a D minor 7, G7 in bar 1, and in bar number 2 we're going to have an A flat minor, D flat 7. Here's how this one sounds. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to look at a line which teaches you how to use this. The line suggests the tritone sub over the regular 2-5-1. So the programmed chords on my loop pedal are D minor 7, G7 and C, but the sound you're going to hear over the G7 is a D flat 7 sound. Here is how the lick sounds. So without the loop, it sounds like this. Let's hear this with the loop. One more time. The The second example, which I'm going to be discussing, is called the backdoor 2/5. I talked about this in a video called 5 must-know beginner jazz chord progressions. I'll include a link to this in the card in case you haven't seen it. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use this, but in a slightly different way. What we're going to be doing is taking the backdoor 2/5 for C, and we're going to be applying this over the 5 chord G7. So once again, I'll play a regular 2/5, then I'll play a backdoor 2/5, so you can hear the difference. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, that was just the backdoor 2/5, wasn't it? I'll try that again, but this time I'll include the regular 2/5. Here is a line that demonstrates this concept. Let's hear that over the loop pedal. One more time. Example number 3 combines what we've talked about so far. In bar number 1, we have a backdoor 2/5, and in bar number 2, we have a tritone 2/5. Once again, I will begin by playing the original 2/5, then I'll play the sub so you can hear the difference between the two. Here we go. Here is a line that demonstrates this sub. Once more. I prefer the sound of this sub over a minor 2/5, so the backing chords on the loop pedal have been changed to reflect that. So we have a D minor 7 flat 5, a G altered chord, a flat 13, and then a C minor 7. So let's hear how this line sounds against the loop. Once more. Hopefully you're beginning to see that all these lines are pretty similar in sound. I've kept them scalic and very diatonic to the subs. I didn't want to do anything too adventurous for the demonstrations because I wanted you to really hear the sound of these subs rather than have something that's fancy that kind of takes you away from that. However, in the final etude, I do start to vary these rhythmically, so you'll begin to hear the difference. The fourth substitution that we're going to be looking at is called Up a Semitone. Once again, I'll start by playing the original 2/5, then I'll apply the substitution. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's probably the most out there that we've done so far. If you look at the chords individually, that second bar has very little to do with a G7. So that one, you've got to really practice hearing that one to get that into your playing. So really, why does this work? Well, you can really put any altered tensions on a 5 chord as long as it resolves, really. And modulations by semitones, either up or down, are very common in jazz and well worth learning. So That's kind of why this one works, to be honest with you. There isn't that much logic there, but it is used a lot, and it's certainly worth checking out and investigating. Of course, you could look at that C major 7 as being an E minor 7, and then you've effectively got D minor 7, G 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, E minor 7. E minor 7 is very similar to C major 7. Here is a line which demonstrates this concept without the looper. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear this against the chords. Example number 5 is a little bit different. This is called the Tadd Dameron turnaround because Tadd Dameron used it in his composition Ladybird in the very last bar. To demonstrate this, I've taken a 4-bar sequence. We've got a 2, 5, 1, and then the 1 this time is also acting as a 1, 6, 2, 5 turnaround in the key of C. So I'll play that, and then I'll play the Ladybird or the Tadd Dameron turnaround so you can hear the difference. Here we go. So this one's quite an outside turnaround, as you probably heard. So what I've done here is I've outlined these very descriptively so you can really get the sound of them in your ears. The line sounds like this. One more time. So a cool sound, and the technique which I've used to outline the Tadd Dameron part is something called Coltrane patterns, which I have a video about. Again, I'll put that in the card. Now that you've learnt all these substitutions, you might be wondering how you can use them. I've got you covered. To conclude this class, I'm going to demonstrate all these subs over the first 12 bars of a progression called Tune Up. Tune Up has a lot of major 2/5s, so it's a great chord progression for trying out some of these different concepts. I'll let you hear it, then I'll break down some of the concepts which I used. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again. So hopefully that gives you an idea how some of these substitutions are used. For example, in the first 4 bars, we'll see that our 5 chord here is A7. So I used a tritone sub here, which means I was thinking of using E flat 7 in place of an A7. And that's the example there, E flat over A flat. In the second set of 4 bars, I was using one example from the lesson. That's straight from the example there, so there's not really much explanation needed. In the final example, what I was doing, that takes a little bit more explanation. I was using the upper semitone idea, and I was just thinking minor over all these, right? So of a C minor 7, that was just an arpeggio, a C minor 7. Now F7, I was actually thinking C sharp or D flat minor 7 there, and then over the B major 7, I was thinking of D minor 7, which works really well over a B flat major 7 too. So that's an example as to how you could use maybe some sweeps with that technique. So I really hope that you enjoyed working with all these jazz subs. Which one do you enjoy the sound of the most? I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts about this. Is there any jazz substitutions that I missed? If so, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. If you did find value in this video, then I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button.